Oh my god, dog. Yo, get that goddamn thermos on the camera. Oh my god, episode 4, Pixelated Perspectives. You know, we glad to be back. Please, all right, just go ahead and talk about the damn thermos, please.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
What's on the inside of it?
Nothing. What do you mean? I don't know
Supposed to drink
what's the
out of it,
problem,
right?
man.
You're not gonna
Do the
drink out.
intro.
You're not gonna drink out of it.
No. I was going to. But then I got it in my hands, and I was like, I don't want to ruin it.
He got a haircut and a thermos, and he acting different, y'all. This is a
There's
brand new
definitely-
guy. Oh my god.
100%.
Beautiful.
There's 100% poop in that thermos.
There's not.
Oh my god.
Don't do that. They'll get started. It goes too far, man. It goes too far.
Somebody found that man's septic tank post from like
Oh
3
my
years ago.
God.
I went a year back.
A year back. Yeah.
A year. What if my mother goes on my Twitter one day? Well, how do I explain it?
I mean,
You
you've done
You
enough.
better delete the tweet.
You've done enough on your own to have to explain your Twitter to your mother.
All right,
That's fair.
what y'all playing? What y'all playing right now?
Go ahead, Steven.
I'm playing like 10 games right now. We were just talking about it a minute ago.
Make me sick.
No, not really. I've got a bunch in play, but right now I've been playing As Dusk Falls in co-op with a friend of mine. It's all right so far. It's like a little visual novel to the extreme of which like there's not even like actual like gameplay or animations. You just pick what happens next in the story, and characters move like they're paper mache dolls. It's weird.
There's some like QTEs in there,
Yeah. But it's kind of weird in its visual presentation, but the story's good. And then I'm also playing fuck, my brain isn't working. I was playing Time Shift last night. Old 360 game, back compat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the Halo killers from back in the day that copied Halo's control scheme.
Every time they said that, they lied. By the way.
Mm-hmm.
Halo.
Yeah,
Killer?
I've got
lied every
Haze over
time.
here too. Got Haze over
another
here too
lie.
on the PS3. Yeah, the only game that killed Halo was Call of Duty, or arguably itself.
No, man.
So,
Yeah, the only game that killed Halo was Halo.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. So,
Sammy, tell us about the one game you playing.
No. All right. See, you thought I would be predictable, but you sound like an idiot because I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 and I played Doom Eternal. And that's right, a third game. I played Armored Core 2 on my laptop the other day, which had the most atrocious control scheme I have ever experienced in a game, where you're controlling the camera vertical with L2 R2, strafe with L1 R1,
Yep.
and horizontal with the stick. It is outrageous. Insulting, really.
Yeah, it sounds about right for them games back in the day.
Yeah, it was fun still. So yeah, 3 games this week.
Wow. I started First Descendants when that came out a couple days ago. I only got to play it once because yesterday it was under maintenance the whole day, so not much to really say about that. It looks good, it plays great. Mission structure is repetitive, as is any free-to-play game, so we'll see how long it'll last. But and I started Zenless Zone Zero last night, which is amazing. It's amazing. It's a JRPG. Action JRPG. I know the dreaded words that he ate. It's got the nice, art style, out there in Tokyo. It's great. It's great. Yeah, art style. Great. And is that it? Yeah, that's really it right now. I ain't playing nothing else. So do y'all want to talk about having a situational disability?
I'll just get out of the way and say I don't have a kid, so I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
All right, so Alana Pierce made a post talking about situational disabilities, and having a child was one on the list, which she actually provided a document which was made by Microsoft at things they look at when they're doing accessibility in games. And because she led with having a kid, on the list, people kind of freaked out and said that having a child isn't a situational disability, which you could. I mean, I don't think it is, but that's just the terms that people use. So I can't really critique how they look at it because I'm not a game developer. But anyway, it was a shitstorm. So
something that takes you away from the game,
yeah,
right?
I just thought it was funny
But-
because, like, in the context, it was about Elden Ring needing a pause button because if your kid goes to put their hand in a power socket, then you might want to pause. Like, I wouldn't even pause a game in that situation, so I don't know what that was about, but it always comes
Hold
down
on.
to that. Like,
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's pause there. If the
Yeah.
kid's sticking the fork in the electrical socket, you're good. You're just like, you
yeah,
gotta learn the
no,
lesson.
no, I'm saying like I wouldn't take the time to. I would just drop what I'm doing and go grab.
okay,
the
all right, yeah, I'm glad he cleaned that up. I'm glad he cleaned it
Let
up.
the kid die.
Yeah, they gotta learn. They gotta learn. No, no, I just mean like you're not gonna stop. Like,
Right,
like
you're
I
gonna jump
like
to
I kind of get what she's saying in the sense of like, if you have a kid in the room that needs attention, then your current situation is, you know, having a pause button in the game you're playing would help with that, I guess. Whatever, but like they there's tons of games you could play instead. Like this idea that Elden Ring or From Software needs to change their development style to cater to every possible situation is just silly to me. Like if Elden Ring isn't accessible enough for you to play while your kid is in the room, play a different game. Like I've got tons of games that I can play. So I mean, like, or just play a game later. Like there's lots of times where my daughter just requires too much attention. No amount of accessibility in a game is gonna help that. Like I just have to stop playing or doing what I want to do at the moment to be a freaking father. Like the horror. But yeah, so I mean, it was just like I get what the document was showing, like how would need to they'd want to design apps or whatever. I think it was the touch section of the app where someone that's a new parent is situationally disabled, so you want to make apps, I guess, that are easy to use or whatever for people that are taking care of a young child. But I just don't agree. Like children they're not temporary. It's not a temporary thing. So to call it, I mean, I guess in that moment of whatever you need to do is temporary, but I don't know. I just didn't like the
Could
example.
you argue though that like it's temporary in the sense that like your kid at 1 is not the same as your kid at 8, who's not the same as your kid at
Yeah.
13?
I mean, honestly,
Right.
kids require more time and attention as they age, not less. So
Of course, like I'm less worried about my 13-year-old like drinking toilet water.
right.
Than,
Yeah, of
like,
course.
an 8-year-old. Yeah.
But I mean, there's other things you're probably worried about your 13-year-old doing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. I just thought the example was silly, that's all.
Yeah, it was
But-
kind of silly. I think most people blew it out of proportion. Well, after talking to people,
It's Twitter.
yeah, after I posted about it and actually talking to people and trying to understand why it was such a big deal, most people just hate Alana Pierce. I personally don't know her. I've never seen her say anything. I've never seen her across my timeline. But everybody's like, no, we don't care if it's right or not. We just hate Alana Pierce. We can't. And I'm like, what does she do? Like, I don't know. Like, so why do people hate Alana Pierce?
She's popular.
I don't know much
and
about
she
her.
has
but,
strong
like,
opinions.
So, okay. Well, that's
Sorry.
tough. It doesn't sound like she did anything wrong here. More just like she didn't come up with the term. She didn't. She just sort of said a thing that existed already.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people
I
just
mean-
kind of like took umbrage with the idea of kids being a disability and Elden Ring needing a pause button.
Yeah. The From Software fanboys go
I think we
nuts
should
over.
just let her live, man.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
I mean, and you saw how I got reacted to when I posted about how I wasn't liking the DLC. So I mean, it's just it's those people, and then she's
Well, dude, you said you thought it looked nice, and then some like crazy dude quote tweeted you saying it looked like a PS3 game, and it was just absolutely crazy.
It wasn't me.
I mean,
It wasn't me.
which it was you. What are you talking
I didn't quote tweet nothing that you posted saying it looked like that. Don't do that. Don't put that on my name.
about?
Listen, when y'all get y'all stuff off and y'all go viral, I just stay out the way. I don't quote tweet. I might retweet it or something. I don't say nothing because them people are crazy. I got my own beef with the Donkey Kong, with the Nintendo fans. I'm gonna let y'all have the FromSoft fans and all that other stuff. I'm not. But
yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. Like like my comment on it was really just more, and I argued with a few people for like an hour or so, and then I was just done with it. But like my comment was just like I thought that sounded really dumb to me, and I laughed at it. That was it. So I mean, like, I was just like, that's silly.
Yeah, it's definitely
How much
it's
you
definitely silly, and it's just like I don't even see why that's something that they looking, because like if you a parent, I feel like you just play the game, especially when you got a parent of a newborn. You just play the game when they sleep or when they, with the other parent or whatever. So I mean,
Oh, I did my most gaming with my daughter when she was a baby because they sleep for like
exactly.
6 hours at a time.
Yeah,
So like she'd be laying next to me in her little boppy and I'm just like playing Doom Eternal or whatever.
yeah.
Like it don't matter.
But I did have people literally comment and say, you know what, whether it's right or wrong, I hate Alana Pierce, so I don't care. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
just what it
there's
is.
that.
Shout out to Alana Pierce. I don't know why the people hate you, but I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So
I also,
does no? Go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say, like, it. You two obviously, I think, know a little bit more about what happened than me, but does it strike you as like it came from a woman to you, and like so people pounced on her more than they would have pounced on someone else?
I'm,
Probably. I
I'm tr-
think I think it's just also because it was Elden Ring that was the example game. It was the
It's like
game.
a perfect storm
yeah,
of
you know what? I
people
was
you
trying to
can
think.
piss off.
I was trying to think like if it was a different person, would it be the same thing? And I think that
Mm.
if it was a different game or just in general, I think maybe you might be right, but I think even if like Ryan McCaffrey would have posted the same thing about Elden Ring, he would have got cooked too. It's just
Yeah.
Okay.
that game is so divisive that you're gonna get cooked
Right.
regardless.
Right.
There would have been a
Okay.
different level of it, but yeah, it would have
Yeah,
been yeah, he
Right.
would have
That's
definitely
kind of
gotten.
what I'm thinking. Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So do you think FromSoft games going into the future need a pause button?
I mean, I don't
Uh,
really care either way. If they want to do it, fine. I'm not going to say they should.
yeah, I think that's like I mean they should do what they want, but I'm not a parent. So I just want to say that again. So I can't really say what parents need or what should be done for them, but I don't know. I think Steven made a good point where it's like play a game that you feel comfortable playing while your kid's around.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I mean, like I was fighting a boss in Elden Ring last week when my daughter was here and she came back from grocery shopping with my father. And she jumped right in front of the screen and started talking to me and I was like trying to fight fucking this boss that had been killing me like 9 times and I almost killed him. And I was just like you just can't play those games with your kids around. Like it's a
Yeah,
high
Yeah,
stress game. You can't do it
it's impossible.
in general.
It is
Yeah.
impossible. Like when my oldest daughter comes over on the weekend, like instead of playing like 2K online, I'll play like Spider Man or Scarlet Nexus or something that I know I can pause because I know
right.
she's is wild. So I know I gotta play something that you can pause. So I just think that
I mean,
if
it just goes into the same discussion as the easy mode stuff and all that other things. It's like, you know, From Software came to popularity because they created a game that went against all of the norms
yeah
of development of the time for RPGs, right? The game didn't hold your hand. It was very challenging but fair, and it wanted you to figure out where to go and what to
Fair
do.
sometimes.
It didn't have, yeah. I mean, nothing's perfect, but I mean, like, you know, so they did that, and now that it's gotten mainstream popularity, people want to go, well, oh, it should have this or it should have that, and it's like, no, I think they should just keep making,
That's
you know,
also kind of the trade-off, though, right?
right,
Like, I mean, not even just across any kind of media. Bands, we see it all the time, right? Musicians, when you hit that level of mass appeal, a lot of times things get watered down. I mean,
yeah,
people even complained about Elden Ring, right? Like, Elden Ring affords you way more things than
yeah,
Dark Souls 1 did or
hmm
what have you. You know what I mean? So that, I mean, that kind of is par for the course. I think they should do whatever they think is right. But like, I
yeah,
wouldn't feel personally insulted if they added an easy mode, as long as there's also just like a traditional mode for me to sit down and play as like a person who plays their games. Like I'm not gonna. It just doesn't insult me if like someone else is like,
well,
"Oh, I did it this way."
there was a tweet I saw from someone about Fallout saying he was like, no, I disagree. I think they should remove more RPG elements. And I was just like,
I saw
that
that.
I was like, this is an argument for gatekeeping. Like there is an
Yeah,
argument for some uh uh not
gatekeeping.
toxic gatekeeping, but like measured gatekeeping, because there are people that
No, I know.
are not fans of that game or that IP or that style of game that want to be part of the discussion, and they want
Like
to infiltrate it and change it into what they like,
you've
and
been
they
here 10
shouldn't.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, like, there are people like that where it's like I feel like, and I already felt like that with Elden Ring going open world, that they were chasing kind of that casual open world market. But that's just me. But like, with Elden Ring at least, it's gotten way more accessible and easier. But it also, enemies are way more complicated than they were in Dark Souls,
Mhm.
right? Like they do way more things. So like, there's a trade off there. But
Definitely.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, Elden, I don't think it. Personally, I think it's up to the developer ultimately what they want to do. If they don't want to put a pause screen, that's fine. If they do, that's fine. I just think people need to let developers make what they want to make. Because when developers feel pressured and they don't get to make what they want to make, we see too many times that they start churning out the live service stuff. They start trying to chase the trends. So let people do what they want to do because it breeds innovation. Without who's to say without Elden Ring we don't get uh, a Black Myth Wukong or something like that. Maybe it would just be another rehash game of an existing franchise or something. So just let people do what they want to do. Developer wants to put an easy mode, it's an option. You don't have to use it. If they want to put a
Mhm.
pause button, don't pause the game. Just die. Like it's just an option. So, I just let developers do what they
I
want to
agree.
do. Let these people cook.
Look, at the end of the day, it's
agree.
art too, right?
Exactly.
You would never walk in on like somebody who's painting their masterpiece and be like, oh, no, 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 that's got to be blue. Like you can't
Yeah.
do that with art. So yeah, I agree.
Well, all I know is, you know, they there's an ocean of games out there
Mhm.
that you can choose from. If this game doesn't appeal to you, go play something else. Like, I mean, I'm not saying don't criticize things. Like, I criticize the hell out of the design decisions for Shadow of the Erd Tree, but I mean, like, that's just my opinion. I'm not telling them that they have to change or anything.
Hmm.
I just didn't like what they did, and like, or with like games like Sekiro, where it's just not a play style that I enjoy. I just didn't play it. I mean, it looks like an amazing game, but it's probably not one that I would be able to do. So
You
I
would
mean,
absolutely be able to play that game. So let's stop there. But
I don't
I
think so.
also think like it's probably important to note that Elden Ring was a fucking massive success.
Yeah.
Any way you cut it. So people pissing and moaning on Twitter is not going to change anything. They
Right?
made
Hmm.
they made the money they wanted to make. So
Yeah.
So do y'all think that DLC should be eligible for Game of the Year? Most specifically, the examples used were Phantom Liberty last year, Cyberpunk, and Shadow of the Earth Tree this year.
no,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be fine with a separate category.
Hmm.
Um, I just think that like I don't know. I don't think I would like that. I want a full game should be the game of the year. You know what I mean? I get
Hmm.
that Shadow of the Earth Tree is a 40, 50 hour experience, but that's a quarter of what I spent in the base game in their like regular games. So no, I don't know.
Hmm.
I think DLC should be its own separate thing entirely.
There's a weird thing where people think that like length of something matters, and I don't think it
Mm,
does. I don't think it matters at
Hmm.
I
all.
agree. Yeah.
Like, I don't think
Agreed.
the DLC being 40 hours means that it's better than, or that it's more, that it's a video, that it's actually like a standard release game compared to something that was 10 hours or 11 hours or whatever.
Right.
The fact is, it's an expansion of a base game. You have to have the base game to play it. You have to play through a good portion of the base game to even play it. So
Yeah.
it does not stand alone in any means whatsoever. So it does not deserve to be judged as a standalone game.
Steven, on
Um,
the record, are you gonna play my new game plus file to get me to the DLC or no?
I mean, I'll do it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I mean, I
Fair
guess
enough.
you're going to be in Cyberpunk for like 100 more hours, right?
Nah, you got the turkey
Um,
leg. You could breeze through it.
no, they nerfed it. They
What?
nerfed it. They just patched it. Yeah,
Damn.
apparently the bleed buildup on it was bugged. It was a lot more than it's supposed to be.
Damn.
So I'm gonna have to figure something else out. It's probably still really strong, but no, I think a DLC category makes sense. I mean, I was against Phantom Liberty. What was it nominated for? It wasn't
Best
nominated for
Best
Game of the Year.
continuing.
ongoing. Yep.
But I'm
Yeah,
okay
best.
with that too. I'm fine with that being the
I guess. I mean, it doesn't really seem to fit the description of what an
Mm.
ongoing game is.
right because after
Rele- re-
that it's not. Yeah.
releasing a broken game in 2020 and then fixing it and then releasing an expansion 3 years later isn't really. That's not really an
Yeah,
ongoing
they
game.
should have
That's
been
just
disqualified specifically for the state that they released that
yeah.
game.
Um. So I mean, like, I think ongoing games to me are like Halo Infinite, Fortnite, Apex
Live
Legends,
service.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact, even No Man's Sky because they get like a new freaking expansion every
And
quarter.
what about Sea of
You
Thieves,
know,
man? Like, I mean, not to be the
Sea of
Xbox
Thieves.
guy
Yeah,
here, but
exactly.
I
that
agree with
game
that.
kind of feels like it deserves more than
Yeah.
it gets.
Oh, it's gonna be on there now that it's on PlayStation. So it's on PlayStation now, so
Oh,
it'll get nominated for something now.
All
Yeah, I
right,
guarantee
let
it.
it be known. I didn't say that.
I guarantee it.
that is a lie.
But
I
okay,
guarantee
I guess
Sea of
then Steven,
Thieves.
you would just do like best DLC of the year.
Yeah, or even expansions, whatever. But I mean, I feel the same way about remasters and remakes too. Like RE4 shouldn't
Hmm.
be nominated for Game of the Year. Like
I agree.
it
Yeah.
it it's different than Resident Evil 4, but it's pretty much just RE4. Just it looks better. It plays a little
I
different.
don't know about
Like
that one.
like
Okay, go ahead. What do
I
you think?
don't know about that one. RE4 to me, and I played RE4 original right before remake came out. Because I played it back on the GameCube but never finished it.
That's impressive, man. I could never do that.
Yeah,
Never.
I played it on GameCube, but I never finished it. So
Okay.
I played it right before it came out. So playing them back to back, RE4 remake was like, to me, it was a completely different game. Like they play nothing alike. I'm not even going to talk about the graphics. Obviously, we expected a generational leap, but just in the gameplay, like it's so many different areas, different levels. The gameplay is different. I agree with certain remakes. I agree most remakes should not, like if you're talking about like the Last of Us remakes, they shouldn't be nominated. Like those are the same games, better graphics. Resident Evil 4, I feel like was enough of an overhaul that it should be nominated, if that makes sense. But if you're saying like Resident Evil 3 remake, maybe no, I don't think that deserves it. Resident Evil 2, I can even argue a case that shouldn't even be nominated. But Resident Evil 4 was just a drastic overhaul, in my opinion.
I mean, I can see that.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the only reason I say that is because there's a basis, there's a foundation that they started with to
Okay.
make this remake, right? That's the only reason I say like I don't feel like Final Fantasy VII remake, for instance, it would fall in the same category, but it's like a different story almost than what the original told, right? And I don't think it's I don't Final Fantasy
Sorry.
VII, yeah. So I mean, I feel like in that regard, it's a little bit different. I mean, I don't think that they're really like people are talking about Rebirth for Game of the Year. I don't think it's deserving at all. But
Hell no, that game ain't deserving.
but I think yeah. I mean, if RE4 is similar in that regard, but I think most of it is just kind of I don't know. It's a lot older game too, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at that. But I mean, like Metroid Prime remastered last year, I was like, people were talking about that should have been nominated, and I was like, for what? Like it's the same game, just it looks better.
Does it
Like
come down to just like we need to be more discerning with what we call a remake and what we call a remaster?
mhm.
Because those are two different words.
Yeah. Definitely.
And like 2099 brought up the Last of Us remake. Is it a remake or is it a remaster? You know what I'm saying? Like I know that it's built. Is it not built
It's
for the
to me,
engine,
it's a high budget remaster. It's just the
Yeah.
only thing that's different is the graphics. Like that's
right?
Well,
Okay,
it's
so
not
no
it's not
gameplay
the
elements.
only thing. I mean, they've got like
Okay.
the AI system from Last of Us 2, and like the enemies are
Right.
smarter and things like that. I mean, there are differences, but they're not as obvious
so
as
it's just upgrades and not nothing new, basically.
yeah, yeah. And
It's
so it's
hard.
like it's
It's
not
hard, right?
yeah. It's
Because
not
when you
like
think about a remake, I guess I think of much older games
hmm
becoming today's
Right.
standard. Which I mean, I don't know. PS3 is 2 gens ago now. I get that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
well, RE4 was even earlier
Right.
than that. So
But that
um,
sounds I mean, I haven't played it, but that sounds like there were legitimate changes made to gameplay
Yeah.
and things of that nature, right?
but
So
I
it could
just
be a
I
little
just
more-
think there's like a foundation that you already have.
Mhm.
Not to say that it was easier to develop RE4 remake than fucking Stray that got nominated for
get
Game
what
of the
you're
Year, but but I just
It
think
wasn't even the
they
best indie
deserve
game of the year that year.
yeah I think they
Vampire
deserve
Survivors, baby.
their own category. I mean, I guess you can make exceptions for stuff like RE4 remake or Final Fantasy VII remake or whatever, where
So
it's
now
actually
you're
like,
in exceptions, you know.
yeah. But I mean, like, because I mean, I can see where people get it from, where they're like, this isn't just a port of the previous game, like with better graphics. Like
Mhm.
even like Halo 2 Anniversary, right? If you look at it, it looks insanely better than Halo 2, and it kept
Mhm.
the same art direction and style. But it's not really a remake. It's
Mhm.
literally just new graphic. Like you could turn the new graphics off
Yeah.
and just play it in the old graphics, right? So
Mhm.
it's like it's amazing work, but I wouldn't say that it should be game of the year,
Right, I
right?
agree.
Like it's probably one of the best remasters I've ever played.
Okay, wait. So, piggybacking off of that, didn't was it Blood and Wine that won Best Action Game the year it came out?
Blood and
I'm
Wine.
pretty sure.
What's that?
I don't remember the
The
Witcher
Witcher
3
Three
expansion.
DLC.
Oh, Witcher 3 DLC. Okay.
It won. I'm pretty sure it won Best Action Game.
It won
Uh,
Best RPG. Yeah.
okay, Best RPG.
Over
Are you
what? Over
guys?
what? Hold up. Over what?
I'm looking now. Hold on.
All right,
This is
hold
8
on.
years
Before
ago.
we get into that, I know you don't like The Witcher 3. That's not the
I
point.
never played it. I don't have an opinion on Witcher 3. I never played
Okay,
it.
okay, all right. But my point is, what about just the philosophy behind that?
That's why I want to know what
Because
it
that's
won
what I'm.
over. Because if it was a slow year, like I was gonna say about Resident Evil 4, if it's a slow year where that's one of the only big titles, like last year, okay. But if it's gonna beat out something that's more
What
deserving, then it shouldn't make the list.
what year was that? 2015? No, because
Probably
it was the DLC.
2016 when
20
it came out, right?
Game Awards Best Archie, Witcher, Hind Hunt. Yeah, it was. Let's see, full list of winners. Oh, the page is gone.
Anyway, regardless, I just wonder if are do we have lighter standards for that sort of award than we do for Game of the Year, which is like the most
Yeah,
prestigious.
realistically, yeah, because people don't really care what. Like you seen last year, like people talked about, oh well, Starfield is nominated for RPG, and everybody's like, well, we don't
Oh
care
yeah.
about that. It should be in the Game of the Year. We don't. So if it's
Okay.
not Game of the Year, people really don't care that much.
Okay, so I want to talk about this for a second. All right, I'm pissed. All right, so this was the best RPG nominees for 2016.
All right.
The winner was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine, a freaking DLC. Dark Souls 3 was on here.
Nah.
Mhm.
Xenoblade Chronicles X,
Mm.
World of Warcraft Legion, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. How does Dark Souls 3 lose to a DLC?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
crazy.
sorry. It's
Did you play
ridiculous.
Blood and Wine?
I played Blood and Wine. It's amazing.
That's
It's an
the best
amazing
DLC I've ever played.
It's an amazing DLC, and to its credit, if you don't have a save file or you've never played the game before, you can just create a new character at the DLC and just play it. So in that regard, you can just play it without playing the base game. I get that, whatever, but it still requires Witcher 3. Like you still have to have the game. It's not a standalone game. It should not have been
So best
nominated.
DLC then that should be.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me that DLC, that Blood and Wine DLC by itself, just that in the context of that, is better than Dark Souls 3? No. Hell no.
Deus Ex got
Get outta
robbed.
here.
I'm sorry.
Deus Ex Mankind Divided's in here.
Deus Ex or Dark Souls should have
Like-
won that award. No DLC should ever win a whole ass
But this
award.
is also the
You
year
guys,
I
don't
think.
know. Have you been to Tucson? Because it's a pretty fucking amazing DLC.
No,
I
but
get it.
I agree. But just the fact that it's a DLC going up against
know,
these
I know.
full creations is crazy.
See, this this
So what
goes
about
back
a year-
to
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, this goes back to why I don't take the Game Awards seriously because the game okay, like this here's the Game of the Year nominee list. Doom 2016, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. Guess which game won?
What?
Don't.
Overwatch.
Hold on. What was the category?
Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's crazy. Insane.
It's
Insane.
ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous.
Insane.
Like
That's-
Overwatch was not the best game of 2016. Not even close.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck
It
out of
also
here.
comes down.
Like,
That's also like it's a media vote,
Yeah.
right?
and it's full of
Yeah, but if you
Um,
look, even if you look at the metrics, nobody in the media has rated Overwatch over. I didn't hear all the nominees, but over something like Uncharted 4, like that's kind of like
no,
crazy.
I know. I'm just saying, like the actual game awards, the people choosing these.
Yes.
Yeah, I
winners
mean,
are
yes.
the media, right?
Yep.
there's
Tells you
media,
everything you need to know.
there's media sites in there that don't even review games. So like
Yep.
go to
One of
Entertainment
those-
Weekly.
yeah.
Go to Entertainment Weekly's page and try. You have to search for their game reviews. I think last year I looked at it to see what their last game review was. It was like Doom Eternal,
Oh my god.
like 3 years before. And they don't even have a section on their website. You have to like search video game reviews. It might have changed since then, but like back before the Game Awards last year, and I was just like, so this is exactly why like I just don't care. Like when people post that stupid thing about Xbox hasn't had a Game of the Year nominee in 10 years, who gives a shit? These people don't know what the fuck they're
Hey
talking
Jeff,
about.
don't listen to him. Jeff, I speak for myself. Send me that ticket, Jeff. I love you. I love the Game
Right.
Awards. Send my ticket, Jeff. I'm hopping on a plane.
No,
You
you know what?
know?
He's right though. You're right. You're right in the sense that like it's a great thing to have for video games. Video games needs that. You know what I mean? So, like that kind of just all out awesome event. You know what I mean? So I agree. There's a place for the Game Awards. I think maybe the way it's executed.
It's just people just have to stop taking subjective opinions as the gospel on everything at the end of the day. That's just all it is. Social media people
Well,
taking a word like if a game is not nominated, that means it's trash, it sucks, and like it's just it's
right.
weird.
Well, my thing is that I the only thing I ask for with the Game Awards, everyone has biases. I have biases. Everyone here on this podcast has biases, right? My issue is the opinions that are being given to us, because these media sites all get together and they give their opinion on what they think is best. They're not informed. They're people that don't play games. They're people that they're sites that don't review games. They're sites that aren't active in the community. Why do they get a voice?
Right, because
Like
they're big.
I'm sorry, like it's ridiculous. So like it's not that I can't accept that the game this is what the Game Awards is, or that this is the opinion of what the best games are or whatever. It's that they're coming from people that aren't qualified to tell me what their opinion of the best games of the year are.
I get
And then you look at Jeff Keighley's show, it's not even about the games because they have a bunch of like awards that they just rapid fire in the pre-show that
Please wrap it up.
they don't even care
Yep.
about. They run more ads than they do showing the awards, and I'm not even talking about the game trailers. Like those are cool. I'm talking about like, fucking gum commercial and shit in between, whatever, The Rock showing up to, you know, talk about his new movie or whatever. Like those things is what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
like
they had a
that's my
Muppet
thing.
last year, right? Didn't they have a
That's my
Muppet there
thing. Like
last year?
it's not even a show that celebrates the developers, the games, and the stuff
Yeah.
because I mean, like we saw last year, the wrap it up shit, like,
Yeah.
and I get it. Everyone can't get up on there, and like what Chris Judge did, like that went on way longer than it needed to.
Way longer.
Like get up there, say your piece, get off this. Like there is a timetable here for the show, right? Like it has. So I get it, but he fills it with a lot of other useless stuff, and then wants to rush the developers off stage. So I mean, like, it's just I don't like it.
I mean, it's also a work in progress, right? Like it can improve.
Yeah,
I still like it though. Like I
it's
mean, I'm
not.
gonna tune in.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten worse over the years. Listen, once
Yeah.
they performed that Alan Wake 2 song, I turned it off.
No.
I turned it
No.
off.
You stop-
I turned
let
it
me stop
off.
you right there.
I turned it off.
That's your fault, bro.
I'm not
That was
watching
a
that.
Tremendous experience. Okay.
I'm sure it was. I'm not watching. I'm not tuning into the Game Awards to see that malarkey. I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was great. Listen, I want to see games. I don't want to see Alan Wake 2 people dancing. But here's not here nor there. I'm not gonna cook Alan Wake 2. I can't wait to play it this year when they finally make a physical.
Mhm.
And so Suicide Squad. So season 2, Miss Freeze DLC, July 11th.
This freeze. Oh man.
Oh, it's okay. I misread that then, because I was looking at the picture. I'm like, why does he look like that? I realize now you're saying it's Miss Freeze. I thought it was just Mr. Freeze that they gave like a weird haircut to.
Nah, Mr. Freeze is dead, right? Didn't he die in Arkham City?
Right. Oh,
I think he
and
died in
it's
Arkham
still,
City.
It's still in that continuity and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
play Suicide Squad. No. Okay.
Oh, you
I
didn't play
haven't played
Suicide
the Joker
Squad?
yet.
Oh,
No.
wow.
I told you. You see, you thought I was a fraud, but I'm telling you, if they continue to give me Batman adjacent C tier fucking heroes to play, I'm not buying the game.
Oh, my God.
I'm not buying it. So, there's that.
You playing it, Steven?
I don't know. I hadn't gotten a chance to play the Joker stuff yet.
Mm.
We enjoyed the base game, but we've kind of moved on to other co-op games, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back
The
to
grind
it.
was like for the I
Yeah.
didn't do the grind personally. I just paid the $10 and went on about my day. But the grind to unlock these characters
Mm.
is ridiculous. ridiculous, and they need to fix that. But listen, let's be honest. The game is cooked. Like nothing that they do at this point is really going to bring any players back, except for people like me who just really love the game and really love the gameplay. So I mean, it's going to be exciting. Season 3, we getting Deathstroke, so that's going to be fun too. But I mean, the game is done. Like it's pretty much a
Is it
wash.
like I'm not a DC fan. I know there's extreme differences between the two characters, but for a video game, doesn't it seem like adding Deathstroke is just? I mean, you already have Deadshot.
I
I
mean,
mean, like
listen,
I guess
adding any character to the Suicide Squad is going to be redundant because they're all using guns. So it's really not going to be too
right.
much different.
Yeah.
Miss
Well, I
Freeze is
just
going to have guns, but they're going to be Killer Frost variety, so they're going to have ice properties, and so it's not going to be much different between playing as the Joker, but well, besides the traversal. But other than that, it's not much difference.
I just remember that being my issue with the Avengers game, where it's like I kind of enjoyed the game itself, but then every character they added was just like girl Thor,
Yep.
girl Hawkeye,
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man from Wish, like so it's just I don't know, like I get it, Suicide Squad. There's not a whole lot you can do there, but I mean, there was a lot of weird fucking guys in that movie. So like, I don't
That
know,
was
add
the
one of them.
fattest Spider-Man I ever seen in my life. What was they thinking
Add,
making a fat Spider-Man for Avengers?
add that rat guy from the movie, from the Suicide Squad movie. Let's play as him. Like,
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know why they made the game. To be honest.
So what do we expect from Resident Evil 9? They revealed they're working on it. We all know that already. So what do y'all think? Or not what do y'all think? What do y'all want to see? Because we still don't know if this game is going to play like 7 or is it going to play like 4 or 2.
I think they've gone in this direction of the first person, right?
Well,
I don't know that they've.
we don't know. Because
Hold
I
on,
mean,
what?
the last
according
game-
to leaks, the game is going back to third person, according to leaks, but we don't know. So that's what I'm saying. What would y'all want to see? Do y'all want it to go back to third person, or do y'all want it to be a hybrid, or do y'all just want straight first person?
So
Alright, don't get mad at me. But I've never like played a Resident Evil game for more than.
All right, that's Pixelated Perspectives episode 4, y'all. We'll see. Come on, man.
Look, man,
Come on,
I'm
man.
not like I'm not a horror game guy,
Oh.
you know.
the guy's got an Alan Wake 2 thermos.
Yo, and it
That's
don't
his
make
head right
sense.
Hold on, that's different. That is psychological thriller. That's a completely different thing. Okay, man. I don't know, man. So I just hope everybody has fun.
Oh my god. All right,
I
Steven,
just
go
hope
ahead,
everyone's
man.
happy.
I mean, I haven't played Resident Evil the last couple releases just because I'm not as into like horror games as much. Like my first Resident Evil was 4. I really like 5. I didn't like 6 that much. So if they go back to like the 4 or 5 style, I'd be down for it. I think it'll play more like the recent remakes though. If they do go third
What's
person.
your problem
like,
with Resident Evil 1 through 3 and Code Veronica? Why you never played it?
I think it's just I didn't have a PlayStation, right? Like I didn't play those games, and
Them games everywhere.
Yeah, what did you have?
I had an N64.
So you
They're
had
on
two-
N64.
The original Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 2
No, the
is
original-
on N64.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
have it, so I
Oh.
mean, I don't know. Like I was a
Oh,
kid.
that
Like
is
I only,
awesome, right?
I only had the games that my parents bought. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that was the complete version to that was
So
the
it's
complete
just,
version.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I've just never been a fan of tank controls and fixed camera, really, for the classic games.
The remakes.
I really like. I haven't played the remakes yet, but I like 4. So like I said, if they go back to that, that'd be cool. I might give it a try. I think 7 and Village more went towards that like more horror versus having like in 4 and 5 you've got like tons of ammo and you could just blast through the game, right? It's more of an action game than a horror game.
Okay.
But I know with like 2 and 3, it's got that like mechanic where you're being chased by something you can't kill. And I fucking hate that in games. I hate that so much. I want to kill whatever it is that's chasing me right now. I don't want to run away from it and then have to like fucking hide. Like I don't know. Like
Did you play
It's not
Dead
a-
Space?
yeah, I played it like years later. Years and years later.
I love that game, but what was the name of the guy that you? I mean, you eventually kill him, but you run away from
Yeah.
him for like half the game.
I don't think
That
there was.
abomination of meat guy.
I don't think that was for that long. I think it was a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, why
No,
do you
I
wait?
just
29. What?
huh?
Well, back to his point real quick. In Resident Evil 2, it's the same thing. He not chasing you the whole game. You only get chased by the tyrant for a small amount of time in the second half of the game when you got to go back to the police station. And then from that point on, you get to fight him in boss fights and you get to kill him. Y'all gotta listen.
Okay.
Are y'all scared? Is that what it?
Yes.
Do these games frighten you?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I just can't understand another reason why anybody would say, "Yeah, well, Resident Evil."
I'll tell you exactly right now. I'll tell it. You could just ask. I don't play video games to feel bad. I don't like that. I like to feel good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of horror at all. I don't watch horror movies either.
What?
No, that's not fun.
So,
No, I'm not a. I like sci-fi. Like okay, like so there's like for movies that could be called
I like
scary.
horror elements. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean like Quiet Place is cool. I like that. I like slasher flicks. Slasher flicks are fun. But like I don't like like paranormal
You gonna
activity
hang out
and
with
shit.
the
Like
rest of the
no. No
Are
shit.
you gonna play that game, bro?
Yeah.
how can you? But so this space not that scary to you? I don't think it's
Well,
that
I
scary.
played I played it like late last gen, and I had that armor DLC, so I was an unstoppable monster in the whole game. So like I didn't really play
I played
it.
it as like
Yeah.
pretty much as scary as you could have it. I played with just the little handgun you start out with.
Yeah, no, I was using the fucking assault
I-
rifle and
I don't know
everything.
why I loved it. To be honest, I had no business liking that game, but
I think it's
loved
just
it.
the mechanic of being able to like shoot body parts off and stuff, which is like a trademark of that generation of like I was playing the time shift and I could like shoot the walls and like chunks of rock come off and stuff, and I'm like they don't do that in games anymore because everything's 4K. Like they want everything to be 4K, and
I think for me it may be I like that setting. You know what I mean? Like that is some why are you making that face? You don't like the setting?
Yo, I'm done with y'all, yo. I'm done with y'all, yo. Y'all are sick.
You hate spaceships?
Y'all trying to sit up here and tell me a spaceship, which has been done 1 billion times in every game. Y'all about to tell me that is more intriguing than the Spencer Mansion?
In a town?
Or Raccoon City, or the Raccoon City Police Department, or the village?
You're going to stand there and tell me, you're going to sit there, look me in the eyes, and tell me that spaceships have been done more often than towns?
Zombies.
No, I'm not talking about towns. I'm talking about the Spencer Mansion and Raccoon City. Raccoon City, Raccoon City is one of the original towns in video games with that atmosphere. There would be no Silent Hill. There would be no Dead Space. There would be no Alan Wake if Resident Evil did not change the game.
Let's stand
if
down.
Resident Evil
Let's
did not
stand
change the
down for a
game,
minute. Has nothing to do with Alan
yes,
Wake.
it does. You think Alan?
That's X-Files.
You think that would exist if Resident Evil wasn't what Resident Evil was?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to break some news to you. Resident Evil didn't invent horror.
Okay, what you gonna say?
Did it? Nothing.
No, it didn't.
It didn't invent horror.
It didn't. It didn't invent horror. It didn't invent horror. But you go back to when the PS1 was out. You go back to that generation. Before that, you had the game out. It was called like Coming Home or something like that, which is Resident Evil was based off of. And then you had, I think, Alone in the Dark might have came out right before that. But Resident Evil. It was a game that Shinji Mikami had worked on before he made Resident Evil. It wasn't based on it, but it was like a game he made, and then he wanted to do another survival horror game coming off that game.
Look,
But come
all I'm
on,
saying
man.
is, don't just keep Alan Wake's name out of your mouth. Is pretty much my whole point.
Oh.
I don't see why you got to do all that, but yeah. Anyway, I don't give a shit about Resident Evil 9. There, I was trying to be nice, but now I don't give a shit about that game. So there's that.
Look, I'm glad y'all being honest. I'm glad y'all being honest. I mean,
I don't have any ill will towards Resident Evil. It's just not a series that I got into until 4 and 5. That's all.
No, yeah, I'm joking. I don't care. I hope it's good.
Hey, Resident Evil 9, make it a hybrid or make it third person. Take us back to some. Well, take me. Don't worry about them. They suck. Take me back to survival horror, limited ammo, zombie scare jumps, and I'm fine with that.
You want to make a deal?
What's up? What's the
Do
deal?
you want to make a deal?
About what?
You play Sekiro straight through.
I played Sekiro already.
You finished it?
No, I didn't.
Then shut up, bro. I'm talking. You play Sekiro all the way through, start to finish. I'll play whichever Resident Evil game you want me to play.
If you picked a better game, I probably would take that bet.
A better game?
If you picked a better game, like a game that was like intriguing, fun, enjoyable, I would take that bet. But I'm not subjecting myself.
Best combat in video game history.
No,
What?
It's not. It's not. Sekiro's decent.
Man, folks, that was Pixelated.
Nio has something to say.
Huh?
Nio is better.
I have to play that. I can't.
Nio
or Neo, whatever way you say it, because it don't look like it's not spelled Neo, but it's whatever.
I can't argue with you because I haven't played that game, but I have it. I'm going
on
to.
PS5. Ew.
Yeah.
I know. Look at this pony.
Yeah, man, look at all these. A lot of PlayStation games. You guys are just a bunch of frauds.
Oh my god.
All right, man. So then deals off. It was Sekiro for Resident Evil. You don't want to do that, then.
Yeah, I'm not playing Sekiro. That game is mid. So moving on. So what's your opinions on y'all favorite company charging $60 for Donkey Kong?
My favorite company?
I've talked about it enough. Y'all, what do y'all think about the price coming out and it's $60 and it looks worse than the original?
It's typical Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
What more can you say, really? If you want to play a good remaster, go buy Metroid Prime 1 remaster.
Don't spend $40 on it if you go buy that game.
Huh?
Don't spend $40 on that game.
Why?
Because if you buying a GameCube game with upscale graphics in 2024, you're a cuck.
Damn. I have a physical copy and I bought it digitally.
Oh my god. Yo, Nintendo be robbing the bank on y'all. Are you serious?
Hold on, bro. So you're telling me you've never bought a remaster?
Not for full price. No, I'm not paying full price for a remaster.
And also full price, $40 in the era of $70 games.
I mean, what remaster is really worth full price though?
I just told you that we are in the era of $70 video games.
Y'all say that, but give me 5. Give me 5 remasters that was $70.
I don't know. I don't give a shit. My point is, it's 40 instead of 70, and it's a great game.
That's a crime. All they did was upscale the graphics, and they charged you $39.99 for that.
I love crime. I'm a big crime
And
guy.
this is why, listen, and this is why we're going to be playing on an Android tablet, a 2017 Android tablet, for another year getting remasters. This is exactly why, because they don't want to stop spending the money. This Donkey Kong game is going to come out. Y'all going to buy this shit, yo. Y'all going to buy it.
I mean, like, we know it's dumb, but Switch people that play Switch are going to buy it. So, I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's not us, because I'll have you, like, I have very few Switch games. I'm not a Nintendo dude.
What Switch games you got?
Take a look. Hold on.
Nah, you can read the side. Just read the side. You don't gotta pull them out.
Take a look. Let's take a quick look. Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, that's the one.
Super Mario Odyssey.
That's okay. All right.
I haven't played it. Super Mario Wonder.
Crime.
Look at that.
Metroid Crime is what the name of that game should be. That's horrible. That's sick. Crime.
That?
Crime.
Why?
Because it's a Wii U game and they charge $60 for it.
7 people bought a Wii U, bro.
It don't matter. So then it should be the price that it was on Wii U, and it was not $60.
The entire consumer base of the Wii U could fit in the room I'm in right now. Skyward Sword HD.
Crime.
Oh, that game was great. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Crime. That game definitely should have been $70.
Breath of the Wild.
That launch with it. That's fine.
This is my favorite game probably on the entire
I have
system.
that. I have that too. Is that the limited? Is that the limited run?
Maybe I bought it on eBay.
Yeah.
I bought this on a whim
Damon
Ex
Machina.
Machina.
I think I played that
I got
game.
it
It's
on.
pretty cool.
I've got it
It
on
looked cool.
Epic. It's all
I
right.
like mechs, you know. So that's it. And then I also have Metroid Dread, but my friend
Do you
never gave it back.
do you have this?
I want to play that game
Astral
so
Chain.
bad.
Why would I
You have
purchase that?
you have
Why
Astral
would I buy
Chain?
that?
See, and this
Why
is
would
the
you
problem.
not?
This is the problem with Nintendo fans, man.
This is probably the
Astral
one game on Switch that's worth $60.
That's what I'm saying. It's a brand new IP, brand new game, Nintendo exclusive, and they don't buy that game. But they're gonna
That
run
looks
out
like
here.
the weakest game I ever saw in my life.
They're gonna run out here and buy Donkey Kong. They're gonna buy
Gotta put some
Metroid.
respect on Platinum Games, all right?
Exactly.
No.
Unless we're
How's
talking
that?
about
How's that?
Scalebound, in which case it's their fault,
Oh
not
my
not
god.
Xbox.
I don't even that's a crime that they canceled that, but that's another story for another day.
Man, yeah. I mean, I think Nintendo fans are just different. They're just different. They're weird people. So I don't know, man. They're gonna buy it. You'll be sad.
My thing is, I think what I don't understand is like I don't know. I actually don't know the history of Donkey Kong as a franchise, but it doesn't sell
Older
like
than
their other
Mario, isn't it?
IP. Well, it doesn't sell like their other IP, right? It doesn't sell like Mario or Zelda.
Mm.
So like I don't know why they don't do different pricing for like Metroid Dread. I bought it at 60. I love the game, but it probably would have sold a lot more copies at 40. And it's a
Yeah, well,
it's a
okay.
two
The
and
thing
it's a
is, you
2D
can
game.
say that about everything, right? It doesn't
Right.
sell as much as Mario or Zelda. Those are like the two most popular video games ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, would it have sold 33? Would it have sold 33% better at $40? So it probably would have had to
I
sell
don't know. I mean,
more.
they
It would have had to
still
sell.
make
Yeah,
they make Kirby games. You know what I mean?
right.
Listen,
They
this
make
Donkey Kong
some
game,
Metroid games.
I promise you, if they would have priced this game at $30, it would move way more units than it's gonna actually sell when it comes out.
I wonder though if that's true. I wonder if their metrics are just like, no, there's enough of the 143 million Switch owners that are gonna just buy this. We don't have to.
I mean, because they probably look at it like if they sell 4 million with Donkey Kong at $30, I mean, do they care if they sell 2 at 60?
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
I'm not gonna knock them from a business standpoint, but I'm not a business. I'm a consumer. Fix
course,
the
and that's
goddamn
fair.
prices, please.
You have every right to complain and hold them accountable, and I agree with that 100%. They don't give a shit, and they're not gonna listen to you, but you do have that right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's overpriced, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's worked for them. So from a business standpoint, I don't see why they would change that when people buy it. So I mean, it's up to the consumers to stop buying things that aren't worth it, I guess.
That's true. But maybe they have like this new bespoke next gen Donkey Kong game just waiting in the wings for the Switch 2 release, bro.
Look, I didn't even say he even know they're gonna do Donkey Kong wrong. They ain't gonna give him no game. The most we gonna get is the most we gonna get on Switch 2 is Tropical Freeze 2 or Donkey Kong Country Returns 2 remastered at $60. That's
Donkey
the most.
Kong they need to bring him. They need to give him a 3D game like Kirby got last year or the year before. Like it would be good. It'd be really good. Because I mean, like, why not? Like they just want to leave. They want to leave it as a 2D game, but it's like, I mean, they just don't sell.
You have Jack Black as Donkey Kong. What are we doing here?
Oh, that's true.
No, it was
it's
Seth.
Funny.
Seth, not Jack Black. So Jack was Bowser, right?
Fat white guys, it's fine. No, so the point is, you would think that would sell well. A well-made 3D Donkey Kong game, like I think that people would buy that. I mean, I'm just some guy.
I would,
but I do think, yeah, I would buy that. I would 100% buy that game. I mean, I know that means nothing, but you just think like he is a popular character. You would think,
and he was just in the biggest movie of all time, the biggest animated movie. You would think that it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, who are we to question Nintendo's business practices? Since they're
make sure y'all sign a petition. Make sure y'all go on my Twitter, sign a petition. Free Donkey Kong. It'll be up today. Free Donkey Kong. We trying to get Nintendo to release the property to another developer, or release Donkey Kong. Period. If y'all not gonna make a new game, let them go to somebody else. Who cares? No, just let them go. Sell them.
Best luck, man. Best luck.
Sell them, man. All right. So is Final Fantasy 14 woke, or just another exaggeration from the internet?
It's very woke. Always has been.
There was
I don't know.
a Final Fantasy character, uh, a new Final Fantasy 14 character in a new update that is voiced by a trans person. So of course, you know, the woke brigade on the internet made this into a big deal and it went viral. I mean,
That's so
if you ever played Final Fantasy, even in 14, you know there are different characters, you know, just of different everything. So like this is just really stupid. I don't even see why that was a thing. It's grifting. It's
well,
political grifting by people. That's
I
what
mean,
it is.
there's plenty of examples of voice actors playing a character of a different gender anyway, so who cares? I mean,
right.
Bart Simpson,
Women, yeah, of course.
Goku.
I mean, look,
Goku.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, those people don't deserve our oxygen. The people making it.
That's why I didn't say the name of the person who did, but we all know who did it. But I'm not
But
gonna say the name.
I would say that entire discussion is stupid. I would say that people have every right to work. I don't understand. No, it's not.
I mean, there just has to always be a new culture war thing for them to profit off of. So
Yeah.
it's just gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Like the best thing people could do is stop talking about them.
Right.
So,
You're right, 100%. But like, it's a good moment to just say, like,
yeah.
trans people deserve every right that everybody else has.
Agreed.
And,
And it should be.
every
It
right
should
to
always be that simple. It should always be that simple.
that's it. Right. This should not be a discussion at all. So that's as far as and Final Fantasy is ass anyway. So that's pretty much
God.
that's as much as I have.
No, I look. I actually don't. I'm not gonna say I agree with him, but I don't disagree with him for the most part. I like very few Final Fantasy games.
He agrees.
Very
That's what
few.
he's-
7, 16, Crisis Core, and I'm good. The rest of them games is mid to me. So
Fair.
My favorite is 10 2.
Shut up.
oh, that's X2 with the girl with the pink hair, right?
No, the pink hair. No, it's the one with
No, I'm thinking
Yuna
about
and-
Lightning. I'm thinking about Lightning. My fault.
That's 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about the sequel to 10.
They're all the same. All right.
Yeah, I agree with that. So have y'all had a chance to look at Dead Rising remake?
Looks cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same deal, right? It's a remaster. And
You gonna pay $60 for that?
no, I'll wait. I'll definitely
I don't
wait.
even think they charging $60. It's 50, I think.
Yeah, it's 50, I think. Yeah. Oh, it's
I'll
got
wait.
new AI. It's got new AI apparently, which you laughed at earlier when I mentioned Last of Us having.
Now
new
look,
AI.
listen. Last of Us Last of Us is a recent game though, so it's a little bit different. Dead Rising AI was brain dead on 360. It was the AI was horrible. It was a lot. That game really needed to be polished up
But
better. So
Do you see my point about how that generation was so good? Like
yeah,
no one tries to do stuff like that on current consoles or
Generational
games
leaps
anymore.
mean less than
tries
the
to do
other.
stuff
Like-
like what? Like what?
Like in Dead Rising, like we had never played a game that had that many like
Anything
Yeah.
like
enemies
that,
on
yeah.
enemies on screen before. I mean, I guess you had Dynasty
I was about to
Warriors,
say that
but
was the
you-
only one, but yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know those are
Not as
more
interactive.
like we're talking about like Dynasty Warriors where every enemy looks the same
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and die and has the same death animation, whereas in Dead Rising I'm pretty sure some of their arms would get chopped off or their heads would go off, whatever.
Yeah.
So you had different things, you know, or like even like Force Unleashed with like the physics where you hit someone into like a wooden fence and it would splinter and break apart realistically. You know, games they're so like
I think it's
sterile
fair to
now.
say that generational leaps mean less than they ever have in
Yeah.
the industry. Like think what's different now than it was last year. It's 4K,
Animations and character
higher
models. That's
frames.
yeah.
4K and higher frames.
So
Which is cool. Like I think a lot of people say like this gen has been a bit of a ripoff, and I kind of agree.
Cause
But
they're on
at the
Xbox.
same
This is
time-
why they have that opinion.
Why? What
To
came
be
out on
fair.
PS5 that,
yeah,
what
there's
came out on
nothing.
PS5 that changed things?
All right, so when you talking about the generational leaps, this gen,
Don't
I
say
think- don't say what.
Spider-Man 2.
No, Spider-Man 2 not a generational leap. I think that going forward, you're gonna see generational. Oh, I can't say this goddamn word. You're gonna see the leaps. You're gonna see the leaps not in graphics or stuff like that, but it's gonna be in things that the hardware can do.
Bro,
For example, coming off of the PS4, I can remember on PS5 launch day, the first time I turned on Miles Morales and I can feel the web with the DualSense, I can hear the web, I can
Okay,
feel
alright.
it. To me, the DualSense is I'm gonna just say it. The DualSense to me, and still to this day, when I played what's the game that just came out? First Descendant.
Blade?
When I played First Descendant 2 days ago, the way that shooting feels on that DualSense, I just can't
I will.
describe it. It just feels so
No,
much
I'll agree with
better.
you. Whether or not people like the how it turned out or whatever, Sony took a legitimate like risk and like tried to make something new, and it does help with immersion. I 100% agree with you. I'll give you that. Um, that being said, fuck off with the Xbox thing because you could never run, regardless of what anyone likes or dislikes about the game, you could never run Starfield on an Xbox One or PS4. It would fry it. It would burn
Yeah,
your
of
house
course,
down.
of course. I agree
So
with
so
that.
they both have their little things, but like it just doesn't. Sorry, like the DualSense controller is cool. I love Starfield. Neither of those make me feel like I'm super stoked to have paid $1,000 total for these two.
I mean,
Consoles.
haptics to me are really great for VR, but they've never done anything to me for regular gaming. Like I'm not actually pulling a bow. It doesn't feel like it on my finger. So I mean, like
Hey,
yeah,
for me,
whatever. It's
I liked it. I don't
just
play it as much on my Xbox, but I liked it.
it's just another battery drain, in my opinion. So
listen.
But I was going to say, I do think that the cool thing about this gen has been like playing some of the bigger games from last gen that I didn't play in a much better state than they ever had released, like Cyberpunk, like The Witcher 3, like playing that 4K 60 has been really cool. You know what I mean? But is that enough to kind of justify what this
Listen,
I mean, I
what
think
let's talk about this real quick and then we're gonna go. So why do people constantly say that this generation has been lackluster for games compared to like the PS2 generation? I personally don't understand. This generation to me clears the PS2 generation in games. That's my opinion.
the
I've played
PS2
more games than I ever had. I've got better games than I ever had. I just don't understand.
so. I think a lot of it comes down to like we're adults now. We have money to buy stuff for ourselves. Like when I had a PS2, I only had a handful of games because I mean we were fucking poor. Like I
Right?
I couldn't even believe I had one. Like honestly. So I mean like I don't know. Like I look back on those generations differently because I was in the mindset of being a kid. So some of those things wowed you more, I think, than our current life, where it's a lot harder to wow an adult because we're like jaded and we have to work every day and shit. You know what I mean? Like so, like I don't know. Like it's just weird to me. As far as like this generation, I mean, I don't know. Like I think that the main issue with this gen is that gaming is as mainstream as it's ever been. It's as part of popular culture now as it's ever been, and it's going to try to appeal to the masses more so than
That's a
you
very
know
good point.
so I think sometimes it feels like we're getting the same games even though
I
we
also
know.
think, yeah. Well, I also think though that like if you look at some of the other things that we've dealt with in this gen, with like going back to money specifically, console prices are not going down.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it doesn't feel like these games are that different than what we played last gen. So I'm not saying that we're not getting good games. We're getting great games. I love being a
Yeah.
gamer right now. But it's just that it doesn't. And this gen we saw the price increase. So
Mhm.
in games. So I think that part of the reason it feels like a ripoff is because the games haven't changed that much, but we're paying more. We're not getting deals. Um, so I think there's an argument to be made for like it
Right.
being feeling a little lackluster, despite
Well,
the
and
fact that, like you said, there's been really good games. Absolutely.
when I when I think too, like for me, from like late 360 gen, early Xbox One gen, there wasn't that big of a leap even then. I mean, like, could you have run
Yeah.
Rise Son of Rome on a 360? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But if you compare it to
Theoretically.
Last of Us on the PS3, they're not that different
Mhm.
visually
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
as far as quality goes. Like, I would
Mm-hmm.
say Rise probably looks better, but it should. It was made exclusively for the next generation of consoles. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
They look better than what? Last of Us?
yeah, like maybe like character models or whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know
I agree with that. No,
specifically,
I
but
agree with that. Roz look better.
um, right. But like obviously it fell more short in story and gameplay and whatever. So I mean, in my opinion, since then, like all last gen, I felt like games really didn't look or play that much better than the previous gen or do many new things compared to the previous gen. I mean, besides a few standouts, obviously. Um, so I mean, this generation for me was always like, people talk about Xbox, how they didn't really do anything new, which is not true. I mean, we have like quick resume and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
um, I love the fact that I could just open my Xbox Series X when I got it in 2020, unplug the cables from my Xbox One X, and plug those same cables into my Series X, my hard
Sure.
drives, everything, and it just booted up, and it was the same. I didn't have to learn a new UI.
Mhm.
Like the UI is already fine. It's fine. It's fine the way it is. You know, the only thing I
Those
want them to
leaps
do,
are cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, so stuff like that, I'm fine with. Like, I think we're at a point where
Diminishing returns.
those generational differences, at least on the Xbox side, are going to be less noticeable because they just want you to be able to have that seamless changeover and experience. It's like getting a new phone rather than getting, and Sony obviously took a different approach. They have an entirely new UI. They've got a new controller with different features and stuff like that. So I mean,
That's my
it
issue
is what
though.
it is.
Why get a new phone if it's gonna be the exact same UI, everything gonna look the same? Like, it's really no point. And I think
I
that's
mean,
the problem for the most part.
for me, that was ideal. Like I don't want to learn a new.
I
It's why
think there's
it's yeah.
there's a little nuance to it too, right? Like the Xbox Series X is obviously not the same as an Xbox One. It's
No.
just they made a pretty seamless environment for their things, and I agree that's really cool. Um,
That shit's
I don't know, man.
ass.
Huh?
I mean, I just think
That
that
UI is ass, bro.
but there was no
Oh,
improvement. There was no improve. Okay, so the PS5 UI changed from the PS4, but it didn't get better. It just looks different. Like
Nah, I disagree.
you can't do dynamic themes anymore.
Don't
I mean,
nobody
yeah,
want
there's
that lagging down the system.
like
Why do people act
there
like them dynamic things didn't
it doesn't
I
lag the
use
don't
that
care
much.
about
system?
it in the
It,
slightest.
it doesn't use that much system resources. Like,
Yeah.
come on, the PS4 was just slow.
Turn on a
Like that's
PS4
what it was.
and have a
Yeah,
static wallpaper and then have a
yes,
dynamic theme and see what's gonna lag your
yes.
screen more.
On the
Um,
Jaguar CPU, yes, that's true, but not on the PS5. My what I'm saying is though is like there is a value to familiarity, and like the Xbox UI has always been better than the PlayStation one,
Cap.
so like it
Immaculate
didn't need to
cap.
change.
That's
You can
cap.
literally on the PS4, and the PS5 is better. The PS5 is better. They've got more overlays now, so you don't have to go to different fucking pages every time you want to look at your trophies or whatever anymore. But the Xbox One UI was perfect. You could just hit the guide button. Everything you would want to access is in the guide right there. You don't have to. You could look at your achievements. You could look at your friends. You could go to your party chat. You didn't have to load into a different
can,
page like you did on
Nah,
can I ask a
PS4.
question though?
I disagree.
All that's
Like,
cool, all that's great, and that's all subjective stuff. Is that why you're buying a new console? It's not why I'm buying a new console.
no, I mean, if you're buying a
Um,
new console just for games, then nobody really needed to buy a PS5 or a PS4
But what
until
but what you
2022.
he
I
he,
think the
he says
important point.
this. Go ahead, Sam.
Let's see. I think the important point to make, just kind of, I want to steer back towards the games. Like, I think you're right. The 360 PS3 era, like that leap to that era, kind of set the framework for how games still work today, and not much has changed. Right? That what they were able to do, um, going into that gen, was so different from what we had ever really experienced on the previous gen. Like open world, like larger environments, that kind of stuff. Like that framework is still being used, and kind of I think it's also fair to ask, like, what do you change? What can you like really
Yeah.
change to make it feel different and also still feel like a good video game?
I mean, I think they just need to focus on, you know, things other than frame rate
I agree. And
and resolution. You know.
okay, you're gonna laugh 2099, but just hear me out for a second.
Mhm.
I played prior to Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out. I played Dark Arisen,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like stunned by some of just the little things they included in their game that made it feel so immersive. Like you could without haptic feedback, even you could feel the wind when you're climbing a mountain, like slow your character down,
Mhm.
or the fact that you had to add oil to your lantern, or if you got wet. Like I think that game, and I think that the Legend of Zelda games have kind of figured out some of the little things that are going to make gaming feel better and different, and it's in the small details that make things feel immersive. I think it's time that they have to get like really granular while still keeping it fun, but like giving you those really tiny little bits that make the immersion, that really make it feel like you're out on an adventure, or whatever it is. Like I think it's no longer, I don't think we're going to get to a point where like gameplay is going to feel that much different. There will be improvements, but I think we can only go so far with it. I think it comes down now to like they have to really think about little details, things that make a game feel
I agree. I
different
agree.
and
I
more
think that
immersive.
I would be fine if they scaled back so on putting whiskers on Aloy's face in favor of doing things like you look at Duke
You didn't
Nukem.
have to do that. That was
I'm
brutal.
no, I'm just
You didn't
saying like
have to, you didn't have to do that to her. I
that's
don't
just
even like that game. You didn't have
no.
to do
It's
that to her, bro.
it looks amazing, but that's just the first example I could think of something that literally just is a waste of time and development costs. Like instead of
Yeah.
doing that, when I look back to the things that I loved about gaming, I like Duke Nukem and Max Payne. I could turn on every sink. I could use every toilet. I can open every cabinet. I can open every door.
Immersive sim
I can
kind of.
open every car door. Like stuff, I'd rather them do that where I can interact with everything in the environment and really get me immersed in the game, as opposed to taking time to do every little shader on a character or make sure the graphics are the highest quality.
I agree.
So I agree with that. The little stuff
Well,
is
and
what really changes the game for me.
like people were making fun of that guy, and he was being stupid, but that was complaining about the garage door being open in Spider-Man, and you just kind of fly into an invisible wall. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like making as big a deal about it as he did was a little silly, but like situations like that do take you out of games sometimes. Like just close it, like have it be closed. Like why is there a black hole entrance that you can't go in?
Yeah,
You know,
I think one of the pitfalls in those things is like you do have to be very
yeah,
detail oriented
right.
for sure.
And then, like, I mean, like, again, going back to the original Xbox, I mean, games like Morrowind, you could go into every building. I mean, it had to
Hmm.
load into every building,
I
but you could
love
go
doing
into
that,
every
dude.
building, you know?
Mm.
So, like, if you can't go, like, and that's the thing is, like, do you need to? Do you need to go into every building? Probably not, right? Like, does GTA 6 need to let you go into every single building? Maybe not,
I
but it
was
would
gonna
be
say it
cool.
could also be a negative, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it would
like,
be cool. But you like I know you guys definitely agree that there's nothing worse than like an open world game that just feels empty
Yeah.
mm,
and like with no point to any of those things. So like I think the big risk with what we're talking about is making it so that yeah, you can go into every single room, but if there is nothing interesting in any of those
right.
rooms,
Yeah.
why the
Well,
fuck would
and
I do it?
what's going to happen is if you can go into every room, you're going to eventually start seeing the same rooms in different houses
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there's no
Yep,
way they can make an open world game.
absolutely.
Like people were complaining about that in Spider-Man, where like you
Yep.
might see the same interior, but it's like it's meant for you to swing past, and you can
Right.
Yeah.
see
Right.
chairs. You can see chairs and
Yeah.
TVs and shit, and it's not meant for you to stop and look at like a Digital Foundry video
Mm-hmm.
where they
Right. So that's
zoom
like an
in.
interesting thing they'll have
You
to
know?
work out, right? Is how do you keep that interesting? How do you make me want to go
Yeah.
into every room?
I think
You know?
I
Right.
think like even off the Spider-Man point, like in the original Spider-Man 2 and that PS2 generation, like you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
go in every building, but at least
Mm-hmm.
on like every block in New York, it was like an arcade that you could walk in and it had an upgrade token in it, or it was a comic book
Mm-hmm.
store you can go in across town and it had an upgrade token or a comic book in it. So maybe instead of just making everything open, just have like certain stores you can go in on certain blocks, a part of town that maybe have upgrades or collectibles or something. I think that would immerse
You
people
want to
as
know
well.
what you reminded me of? You're gonna be very happy that I say this. Actually, uh, God of War 2018
Mm-hmm.
rewarded my exploration every single time. That was one
Mm-hmm.
of the things I loved the most about that game. Like it's a wide linear game, but I there's no excuse in a game that size that you don't reward my exploration
Yeah.
every single time. And that game did it. Every time I found a nook or a cranny to go like check out, I found something
Mm-hmm.
worth finding. Um, and so I think that that should be a model people use. I mean, not necessarily everything from it. I think it's a great game, and I think yeah, you have to reward my exploration in a small game, in a big game, and I
Well,
think that's what it's going to come down to.
that's what I want, you know, Bethesda to get back to because Morrowind was designed as a I don't want to say realistic, it's a fantasy world, but
I get what
it
you're saying.
felt like
Okay.
a lived-in world
Mm-hmm.
first.
Mhm.
It wasn't created for the player.
Mhm.
And
You were just there.
Skyrim and Fallout 4 and Starfield feel like games that were created as a playground for the player, which isn't necessarily bad. To me, it's
Mhm.
not my preference for an open world game because then it feels very artificial and it feels very checklisty, you know. But like Skyrim had that kind of design philosophy of like every whatever steps or whatever you're finding something, you know, or
Mhm.
you know the dungeon design was, you know, there's a chest at this location and there's another one at this location and then there's always a boss with a chest at the end and then
You
a way
felt
to
like
get
it
back to
took
the
away
beginning.
from it.
Yeah, it felt like when you play an immersive game or when you when I played Morrowind as a kid, like I got sucked into the world, and then playing Skyrim, I felt more aware that I was playing a video game. It seems silly. I know it seems silly,
No, I
but
get it.
it is a video
Mhm.
game. But like
No, but I get exactly what you're saying. Everybody wants
yeah,
immersion. It's one of the biggest things people complain
right.
about,
Yeah.
right? It's one of the things they complained about with Starfield. It's one of the things people complained about with Hellblade 2. People
Yeah.
want to feel immersed in a game. So that
But and
makes
that's the
perfect
thing,
sense.
and it's like the wider audience doesn't though. The wider audience
No,
is
right.
like,
They
this
don't
is
give a shit.
boring. This is
I want
boring.
to play
Like
Call of
there's
Duty.
no
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I think you made a good point. Yeah.
So
No, y'all good. That's all we got today. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely got that Star Wars Outlaws giveaway coming up. So make sure y'all sub, get your name in the pot. Also, I'm waiting for the Marvel vs. Capcom collection release date, which is probably going to be revealed at Evo if I'm a smart man. Um, and then
boycott.
and then we're going to do a tournament on the channel. So we're going to do a tournament for that.
Okay.
Going to be prizes and different stuff. So just make sure y'all stay tuned in. We'll be back next week. Take it away, my guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. Love you.
Thanks for watching. See y'all next week.